Okay, welcome everyone. So we're going to do a little bit on advanced techniques, a little bit of demos, time for Q&A. I think we're sort of getting to that point in the course where it's like integrating, getting good at things, practicing, coming back, hopefully watching lots of demos, doing lots of practice, a little bit of reflection. Let's do a quick centering. Who would like to lead today's 1 minute centering? Alison.
Okay. If you're willing, let's do a really quick centering and start with a gentle shake of the body. And then a full breath in and a sigh. And let's do that again. And then one more, thinking, relax and expand at the same time. And that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. That was like a 10 out of 10. What do people think of that one? Are you a yoga teacher as well, Alison?
No.
No, you got it down though. That was good. You seemed it's okay to give feedback.
Please.
I'm assuming it is, right? This was just to check. Yeah, lovely manner. Seemed like you were pretty relaxed. It could be, especially given the context, right? You probably could be even more centered if it was just with a client. You said think, relax, and expand. I'd say just relax and expand rather than think about it because it takes people into their head. Basic instructions were great. I like the shake. Shake is what I call a dual regulatory technique because if you're tired, it'll wake you up, and if you're tense, it'll relax you down. So there's not many of those, like balancing postures, another one, that are really good when you have a group because it's like everybody needs one of the two, right? And shaking or the balancing we do, we'll do both. So the people who are up will come down, people who are down will come up. Yeah. So that was nice. And then really simple, clear, doesn't have to be anything fancy or crazy. Um, I think I also enjoyed the sort of Englishness of it. Did it feel English to other people? I think I'm missing England a little bit. I'm missing the Englishness. And for me, there was a sort of a cultural resonance there that was delightful, absolutely bloody delightful. So yeah, that's another sort of layer. But probably I'm giving it a 10 when it was probably a 9 just because of that. But still a solid 9. Do we all agree? We're going to give her a solid 9 for that one. Yeah, definitely the standard I'd like to see in. All right. So, questions. Let's do questions. How's your coaching going? What did you think you've got down so far, actually? What's good? Let's celebrate before we do questions, actually. Like, what are you like? You're at this point in the course, you've done a bunch of practice. Like, really? Like, just max out the practice you can do. Don't do the minimum, right? Do like, how many people can I coach? What are you doing well in your practice? What are you like? No, I think I've got that down. I think I'm doing that well. Centering, yeah, great. Like if you get nothing from this course, I hope you get centering, right? Like I'm about to do a new Facebook ad video and it's going to be like the top tool for coaches and it's centering. You know, self-care pose. Yeah, like have you noticed people are really hard on themselves like most of the time? Like most people just beat the shit out of themselves. And like a little bit of kindness goes a huge like and I'm not like, me, I'm not like Mr. Fluffy, right? But it's like, Mr. Fluffy used to be my name. When I used to work with kids, that was literally my name, but don't tell anyone, Mr. Fluffy. You can call me Mr. Fluffy or Embodiment Sensei or Mark. It's all good. Belief archaeology, yeah. Nearly always when someone just seems like they're suffering a lot, there's some sort of shitty belief, yeah, behind the scenes. But remember, it's not conscious. This word belief is almost the wrong word. It's like embodied, implicit narrative. We tend to think of a belief as, I think that Madrid is the capital of Spain, or I think that killing old people is wrong if you're in the UK. Anyway, I won't get on my high horse about that. We tend to think about that belief, right? But actually, it's a little bit deeper than that. Yeah, it's something that we're living, that is in our perception, probably not in our, what do they call it in cognitive psychology, like mental space. It's probably not like going through your head. Yeah. Yeah. Awareness pointing, yeah, yeah. like just getting to the point where it's obvious what people's embodiment is. It's obvious what people's embodiment is. Okay, what do you need to work on? Focusing on the goal. Good. That's the key thing. What do you need to work on? Yeah, wrapping up. So we're going to go through some lists next week about this, but the key thing is cognitive takeaway, practice the takeaway. Yeah, and then emotionally put them back together. They're the top three for wrapping up. Is anyone finding they're not leaving time to wrap up? Is anyone finding they're like rushing the end? Super common, super common. Yeah, particularly at first, it's hard to do it quickly, so I get it. Yeah, so it's like there's no cycles technique, but what we're wanting is cycles to be implicit in how you do the whole session. We're going to talk about this next week. Yeah, so rushing the beginning or rushing the end, they're two like cycles patterns, really important. And we don't say like you should leave 5 minutes of a 20-minute session, but you might want to give yourself a little rule of thumb like that, right? Like if I'm doing a 30-minute session, like you should definitely be leaving at least 5 minutes, maybe more, particularly for like, like just take a breath, let's make sure you're okay. And sometimes you have to stop the client doing another cycle, right? Has anyone had that? When the client's like, oh, and by the way, let's talk about my mum's death. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. We've got 1 minute left. Take a breath. Maybe let's not right now. Yeah. Uh, yeah, lead a follower. Yeah, do it when I want to say. So the copying the arm pattern or the moving backwards and forwards is one way, but that's way easier to get better at doing it in person because you get the actual felt sense of the person. Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm really glad I've touched a lot of people. Okay, so I had a particularly interesting life. There was two things that were a big factor in my life for a long time. One was Aikido, and I would travel around just touching lots and lots of bodies. Yeah, the other one was I was highly promiscuous, which I'm not proud of now, and I wouldn't recommend. But what it was good for is I got touched a lot of people, like physically. Yeah, so like if like people who do massage also have this, they just touch a lot of bodies, or people that dance tango with a lot of different people. So I'd recommend if you want to be a really good embodiment teacher, find a way to touch a lot of different people, like physically touch them. Does that make sense? I'm not necessarily suggesting you take the route that I took. All right. I regret nothing. Okay, so yeah, it could be mass, could be body work, could be tango, could be aikido, could be acro yoga. But I highly recommend finding a way to like be in physical contact. You'll just get like a better felt sense of people than when you go online, you've got that in your bones. Is that clear? Yeah. And it's not always possible, but if you're like really dedicated to this, then that's definitely one. Yeah. People didn't mention four elements much. Any questions about that? No rush is a big one, like making it seem spacious. All right, question time. Yeah, interesting. What if the client demands more homework? I mean, you could send them off to do like, an hour of yoga a day or something, right? Like you could send them to a class, for example. We use our four elements model to help with that. Um, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those questions of it's a good question. It's sort of one of those depends questions. There's a bigger question here, so I'm going to widen the question out, is do we please our clients, right? And the answer is, well, you need to please them enough for them to be satisfied with the process, but is it like an ethical breach? Is it going to hurt them? Are they asking to, have homework that's going to just interfere with their life and be a problem, right? So, I mean, it's a nice problem to have in a way, but yeah, I think that's a tension we have as coaches. Most of you are two people pleasers. Most people, as human animals, we're very pro-social and we don't know how to say no. Like put it this way, if one of your friends was overweight and they said, "Do you think I'm fat?" Who here would say yes? Who here would say yes but be a bit uncomfortable? Like, yeah, most of us would be uncomfortable, right? Who here would say, no, not really, even though you're gonna die of a heart attack and that's not good, and I love you and hope you don't die. Yeah, so it's like we all have this tendency where it's difficult to say things people don't want to hear. That could be something, particularly for the water people, you really work on as a coach. You could actually make it a goal. Like you can have these little sub goals in coaching. Like every coaching session, I'm going to say one thing the client won't like. Does that make sense? Yeah, because remember, our job is to serve the client, not to please the client. This is one of my personal strengths, I'd say, as a coach. And if I find it difficult at times, I'm sure you nice people do. Yeah, yeah, it's good inquiry. Spella, do you want to say what you mean you wonder about it? If there's a more specific question, I'm happy to answer it. And
So
in the chat, if you would, just because it gives me time to go through.
it's a lot to type.
Yeah, if you don't mind for now, just because there's a lot of questions. Often it helps people get clearer to type it. Difficulties to interrupt the client. Yeah, and is that Ava, is that an emotional difficulty or is that you don't know how to do it specifically? For most people, it's an emotional difficulty, so it just means a bit of centering. And then the other thing is practice that in your peer groups. Yeah, like actually practice that in your peer groups, even if it sounds a bit fake or a bit role play. The other thing I'd really like you all to do in your peer groups, and maybe you can all text your peer group this, is give each other feedback on your embodiment again. Yeah. So I think at this point, some of you are coaching and you're a bit blind to your own embodiment again. You might need a reminder. And again, this could be tough love, right? Like who here has someone in their peer group who is a bit too nice in their embodiment, a bit too soft? Okay, we're not going to name names. Okay, who here has someone who's a bit aggressive or a bit too direct, a bit too assertive? Less common, but it's fiery people. Who here has someone in their peer group who's a little bit controlling or a little bit dry or boring, even a bit earthy? Okay, who here has someone in their peer group who's a bit crazy? It's just a bit airy and all over the place, a bit like, you don't trust them or they just seem a bit mad. People need to know this, right? Yeah, people need to know this. So this is where you can like offer each other feedback. Key thing here is it's not coming from like revenge or nastiness or anything like that. Yeah. You nice people. Yeah. I have the impression that one of my volunteers doesn't work with the body. She hardly ever wants to try anything. Yeah, so it could be that you say specifically to someone, this is how I work. If you don't want to work like that way at all, we're not a good fit. However, I would say for a lot of embodied coaching could simply be the coach is embodied and the coach is regulating the client. So if all you did was normal talking coaching, but you were doing your own centering, your own awareness of the client, that was guiding your coaching, your own intuition, that's still embodied coaching. See what I mean? So I remember years ago we had a discussion between me and my colleague. Do we call it the certificate of embodiment coaching or the certificate of embodied coaching? Do you see the difference? It's subtle, right? So embodiment coaching is like we're doing embodiment techniques. Embodied coaching could be you're an embodied person who's doing any other kind of coaching. So I'm not totally against clients who don't really want to do all body stuff. Obviously, it's difficult for practice and homework, but in terms of being like a valid way to work, it is a valid way to work, right? I think a lot of what we're doing is being co-regulatory. That's a big thing, is working with the client's mood. And that can be totally implicit or unconscious. Doesn't have to be doing exercises, right? But thanks for bringing that up. Okay, so Spella's talking about the four elements. So let me just teach a little bit more generally and see if it answers. What's the woo? Thanks for that. I get it. Oh, that distinction? Okay, yeah. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, so four elements body storming is one way to work. It's just one way to work with the four elements, right? So in that technique, we're just using variation and embodiment to create new ideas. It could be the 5 elements, it could be the 6 archetypes. The key thing is we're creating variety of embodiments. They have fresh ideas, which is kind of the whole point of coaching, actually. So I'm finding bizarre when other coaches don't move with the body. The even simpler version of that is just getting people to go for a walk or stand up or move or stretch, right? Just move their body at all to shift their ideas. Yeah. But we also use the 4 elements to design practices for them, things they can do to take away. The other way we use the 4 elements is as a coach. So this might be a good thing to play with in your peer group, is coaching from different elements. And it's not so exaggerated or dramatic, but just using a little bit of an element to change your coaching style. So there's a variety. We could also use it, I think, Spella, you're talking to this here, that we point at that they're already in one element, right? Is that what you mean? I'm going to unmute you because I'm not clear yet still, so it might be easier if I unmute you.
Yes. My connection.
Okay. Okay, try again. Last call, because this is everyone's time we're using. All right, never mind then. I really recommend computers rather than phones for these calls in terms of being able to see people and the chat and signal and stuff. Last questions before we do a demo. There's a few. Journey design we're going to look at next week. How much should we implement accountability at the start of the session? Yeah, I'm going to talk about this next week. I just did a video on this. Yeah, I'd say this is a good thing to include as pretty much standard at the start of every session is how did the homework go last week? Yeah. But the attitude here is if they haven't done it, it's not like shaming them or, telling them off. It's more one of like curiosity. Maybe we didn't get a good motivation. Maybe you just didn't remember. Maybe it was too big an ask. I've just done a video for you guys. You'll see on the platform next week around this, which is basically how to get your client to do your homework, because I get asked this a lot. And a key thing, though, is the accountability, right? That's one of the things they're paying you for. It's very helpful to have some accountability around that. And then you've got a decision point, like, do I need to adjust the practice? Do we need to just give up on it? And is there a place where you say, you know what, if you're not going to do any homework ever, and I've tried to make this easy and convenient, all the other things. So I've literally swallowed a fly. Excuse me. Extra protein. Okay. Is there a place you actually drop that client, right? Like, is that part of your actual accountability? Is that part of your actual contracting with the clients? So yeah, and that again, for the nice people, that might be a tricky one to say, hey, how's it gone? And really like with a friendly vibe, not like, did you do your homework? Even the word homework I don't like because it makes it sound like this thing from school that you have to do. Practices may be a better word. Does that answer your question there? Um, okay, lots of chat there. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Miriam said the relationship with volunteers is a bit off. Do you mean it doesn't feel friendly or there isn't quite the empathy there? Like, what do you mean a bit off? You want to quickly unmute? You another one on a mobile phone.
Hello.
Hello. What do you mean a bit off, Miriam?
It feels like sometimes he is a bit fake in a sense of he would only do the volunteering for my sake, but he's not
Okay.
totally like interested and committed. And then there is also this part of where he's getting into his head, but he's talking about the body. I ask like, what are you doing in your body? And he's like, yeah, there is lightness. And then I tell him close your eyes.
Okay.
And,
So
like feel, and there is different.
just because we're tight on time, I'm going to offer a couple of things, right? So one is offering like self-touch to really return to the sensation of the body. That can be very helpful. The other one is you need to kind of get this out in the open with the client, right? Like, hey, it seems like you're not like super into it. Like maybe I'm misreading that. Like, I really want to work with some stuff that really matters for you. Like if he's just doing you a favor, it's not really being engaged, is it? I'd say what I do like though is that you notice this, like noticing the client's level of engagement and motivation. Yeah. Equally, it can be too much sometimes, right? Sometimes the client, but it's the most important thing ever. Help me. And you're like, whoa, 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 let's practice a bit of non-attachment. You know what I mean? Like, take a breath. I'm just practicing now. I'm not here to save your life. I use humor a lot in that other circumstance. This is a good place for humor in both cases, actually. I'm going to talk about humor in another session, but one of the ways it's one of the Beck techniques actually. But one of the ways to use humor is to either lessen attachment or increase motivation. Yeah. Like both of those things can be a good use of humor, I would say. All right, we'll leave that one for now. How to practice tools specifically when the session issue doesn't. Yeah, this is one of the problems with practice sessions, right? I mean, first of all, almost any tool can be used for almost any problem, right? Like if you're creative, you can almost practice anything. Generally, we're led almost entirely by the client's need. In a practice session, you're led both by the client's need and your need to practice. So this is why you're not charging, because you're not in service to the client, you're in service to the client and you. Yeah. In that case, you can even say, hey, do you mind if we do this today? This might be helpful. You could even start with that. Let's say you want to practice leader follower. Instead of asking them what they want to get out of the session, you can say, hey, do you mind if we just start with this relational thing? Like everybody has relationships, and so something interesting will come up. Yeah. Or you can say, hey, I want to practice a technique that's about boundaries. Everyone's got something with boundaries. Can we just start there? Rather than the normal like goal setting kind of side of things. And then does that make sense? It's just a way of like saying, and usually the client's going to get something from it, right? Like who's going to practice any of the techniques and just go, that was a total waste of my fucking time? I think it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. Yeah. So, yeah, generally they'll be finding like self-care pose, right? Who's not going to find something interesting? Even if it's, I used to be shit at it and now I'm really good at it. Thanks for reminding me I've grown, right? You see what I mean? Like that's what comes up for me quite a lot when I do self-care pose. It's not fascinating, but it's kind of nice. All right, so there's my calendar. We don't want to show you that. Da, 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 da. So your Keck tools, centering. Remember centering? I did a demo Tuesday evening. You probably didn't see. That's worth watching the recording of. Centering is at the beginning, but centering could be throughout. Another use of centering, we realized we didn't teach as much as I'd like. I teach this a lot on my live workshops, so I realized we don't do it so much online. Is centering around a problem where we introduce the problem gently and do like a sort of almost like a CBT graded exposure where we're using centering just to make people more relaxed around the issue. So that's a valid technique. Yeah, it's not just centering for goal setting, it's centering to help them be less stressed. I was doing a demo and it was about like annoying people. Totally valid technique. You're giving them practice using simulation to practice being relaxed around the difficult thing. And then maybe adding boundaries or something else, right? Does that make sense? Like, who's seen me do that in live workshops, right? Like systematically annoy people around something. Yeah, it's like we demo it less, I realize. I think next year we might add it, but it's another use of centering. So like literally it's just centering as the tool. So watch that demo from Tuesday evening. You'll see there's like lots of examples of me online doing that as well. Awareness raising, huge thing. Belief archaeology, huge thing. Like you could just work with that. Like there's whole systems of coaching that are just like, what are your underlying beliefs, right? Serenity Tool you guys haven't done. I might demo that today as a fun little bonus. ETK obviously is all the other poses. I would say if you get the book, one or two of them you might be able to do from the book, but I'd recommend actually training with us. If you don't want to do the full mech, you could just do ETK next year from September. Also, people were saying to me like, I'm full, I've got enough stuff. It's like, yeah, stuff like ETK is intricative because we use the same principles. Okay, so you're actually gonna get bored. Like people on Mac, by the end of next year, you'll be like, I've heard you say that so many times, I'm bored of it. Like there's an intricative element that's really key. Even if there's slightly different tools, like when I teach like Serenity Tool or whatever, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've done that before. I kind of get the idea. Yeah. Fundamentals brainstorming, but there's also 4 elements. Practice design. Remember, we didn't so much put that as one of the tools, but you did it. You did it during FEC, right? So you've gone through that process of building a practice, learning a practice, choosing a practice based on the 4 elements, and then lead a follow. So some of the advanced tools I do, often people like, give me the new thing, but actually a lot of what I do is more like integrating the tools, flexibility with the tools, deepening the tools. Like, honestly, that's most of it. Distinction coaching is something you'll see a lot of in different things. It's a bit more of an advanced tool where we're helping people understand the difference between two things. So it might be the difference between being brutal and being boundary. Humor I talk about quite a bit, but it's definitely like techniques I work with around that. Body listening or deep listening is like focusing, where we're really asking the body's opinion on things. Like this also can become parts work. It's like, what does your gut say? What does your heart say? What does your head say? It's a classic Wendy Palmer one. It's very simple parts work. It's not as complex as say IFS or voice dialogue, but you'll see me do like little sort of light versions of voice dialogue or IFS. I've done quite a lot of experience in voice dialogue. Teleological coaching is like, what's the point of something? It's a bit too difficult to explain now, but these are some of the other things I'm working with. So if you're watching demos, this is some of the stuff you'll see. You'll also see more like emotional work. I don't want you to get the impression I'm like against emotions or something. But that they tend to be the sort of other tools you'll see me use in the demos. And obviously it's not quite as neat. You'll see that like, things are a bit more mixed in together. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Eva. Mm. All right. Shall I do a demo today? It seems like people like demos, maybe more of a freestyle one, kind of mix it up a little bit, and then you guys will have 15 minutes practice at the end. Yeah. Okay. Everyone throw in a topic for a demo, and then you can all upvote which is your favorite one. So, oh, by the way, these will be on YouTube. All right. So you're also volunteering. You're agreeing that unless something really private comes out, then we'll delete it. You're also agreeing that it'll be online. We realize it's like too good content not to share. Mm. So if you've got a topic you want coaching on and you don't mind being on YouTube, stick it in the chat. Stick the topic in the chat, right? This is also a way I make sure when we're doing something that, I can do a demo with that's more or less going to serve everyone's learning. So what's the topic you want? Coaching on. People have been coached before. It's generally pretty pleasant, right? I'm pretty nice to you. Some people say I'm much nicer when I'm coaching than when I'm just generally humaning, even. FOMO. Oh, a good topic, but I can probably demo, yeah, action and acceptance tool with Lydia. It's just a bit of a bonus. Difficult conversation with a business partner. I'm tempted by that. Last call to vote now. Vote on them. I want to do this quick. These are all workable. None of these worry me, right? Like I look at these and I think, yeah, we can work with this. Okay, it's between FOMO and do less and slow down. Which are we going for? See, 5-7. Miriam, you've done coaching with me before, I think, right? 8-8. 9-8. Oh, okay, Lydia's got it. I think Miriam I coached recently as well. So we'll go with Lydia. Where's Lydia? There you are. Higher. Hello.
Hi, Mark.
I like you. It's nice to see you.
Thank you. I like you too.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm doing good. Yes. Yeah. Nice time
Good.
in my
I
life.
believe you when you say good. What? Give me some specifics there, though, just so I'm even more aware. Like what kind of good?
Good in the sense of I'm doing really things I like. I have the time to integrate, to have, like time for friend, time for social interaction, time for myself.
Nice. Yeah, you seem
Yeah.
like you're glowing and flourishing. Maybe it's just a
Yeah.
nice way. Yeah, I'm just kind of tuning into how you are right now. This is a lot
Yeah.
of what I do at the beginning of coaching. Is sometimes, by the way, I'll talk about what I'm doing just to help everybody else. But it's like starting positively. I noticed like, oh, I like this person. I want to work with them. So I just said it because it was like, why not? It helps the rapport, and very honest. And just tuning into the person, like getting a sense of their context, getting a felt sense of how they are today before we do any work, right? Like that's really important. Okay, good. I mean, just for the fuck of it, take a breath.
Mhm.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to get next? Let's ask it this way for a change. What do you want to be different in 15 minutes time?
Yeah, to accept more, to do less and slow down. I'm on the path.
Yeah.
I'm working on it with the practices. Keck is helping me a lot. Still, there is a part of myself which is really more in this grasping and
Oh, you're giving me so much to work with here. I hope everybody watching this has seen at least 5 things we can work with by now. Okay. So first of all, I love that. Let's start with the love. You did a little heart touching when you said love cake. I love cake too. So there's some sort of love there. That seems resourcing. So we can also, that's a kind of good thing to tune from, maybe
yeah.
like where it's coming from. Yeah. And you also were saying like parts of you, so we could do parts of you. We're talking about acceptance. So, it sounds like a good one to demo the Serenity Prayer tool. So, have you heard the Serenity saying or the Serenity Prayer, which is okay, so it's used a lot in Alcoholics Anonymous, another 12 step. Sometimes it has a religious context, but it doesn't have to. It's just a really wise saying. It's really the heart of coaching and stress management, which is grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And having done many
Yeah.
stress workshops, this is absolutely the heart of stress. It's also the heart of coaching a lot of the time, because
Yeah.
generally our coaching client either needs to accept something or change something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
If
need
it's,
to accept.
yeah, yeah. And also, can we take it a leg back? Like, I mean, you can help with the body with that, right? Like, what's the body of accepting this? What was it? Slowing down
Slowing down and do less.
and do less.
Yeah,
Slowing down and do less.
really concretely looking at my agenda, and I like to look, okay, what I want to do, and when it's too much, and I have this sense of where the limit is, but still I tend sometimes to put too much.
Yeah, yeah.
in my
So would you
agenda.
like a little bit more acceptance of this tendency to do a little bit too much? See, I'm taking it a step back because you told me you want to accept that you need to do less or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then there's also another acceptance, isn't there? Which is part of you is like overfilling your diary. There's a habit maybe from the past.
Yes, a huge habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just in terms of normalize, yeah, like smile at that. That's good, right? Like what's funny about it? I want to follow the humor. What's funny about that?
Yeah, it's fun. It's sad and it's funny. It became funny, and I'm happy.
Okay, great. Yeah, usually when people go into humor, it's because there's an acceptance. There's a like, oh, look, it's a pattern that's not me. Oh, right. One more of those breaths. One more of those breaths. That's a good acceptance breath. And one more just for luck. Do a third one if you're happy to. Always choice, right? Oh. Yeah, you can smile at that. It's kind of, there's this is a bit of humor coaching, right? There's a bit of ridiculousness in it.
I
And that
like
really,
it. I need
yeah.
it. I need you, Mark, in that sense.
Well, I think
This
what you're needing
humor.
here, I don't want you to be relying on me, but it's like you're tuning into your own humor there, right?
Yeah.
Like your own sort of like, yeah, okay, kind acceptance. Because remember, all of culture is doing culture. Switzerland is a doing culture. The world is a doing world right now, culturally. You probably picked this pattern up when you were young, right? Like, I don't know where you learn it, but school or parents, we don't need to go there. But like, it's fair to say someone taught you this, right?
Yeah.
And are you going to completely change overnight?
No.
No, I mean, have you ever seen anyone just go, okay, now I will stop doom scrolling. Now I will just eat broccoli and healthy food. It doesn't happen, does it?
No. And it's feel like it's more also like about the people around me, right?
Uh-huh.
Also, I see in the coaching as well, the pattern comes up from the coachee, and I see, okay, I'm somewhere else now, but still on the process. And
Yeah.
you know,
So accepting you're on the process.
yeah, accepting I'm on the process. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And again, what's the body that comes with accepting you're on the process?
It's like backing off and
Backing
relaxing
off,
chest.
relaxing, great. So
And also,
yes, God.
and also going a bit up, also like taking that not so serious, like
Nice, nice. So I think we like actually being able to laugh. Of course, there's a habit. Of course, this is how culture is. And, I can accept that, but I still also have this desire to change, right? So there's these two sides, the courage and the acceptance and the action, right?
yeah,
So it's like, you know what, right now it's in process. One I use a lot is I'm human, right? Like it's not going to be perfect. you know, and I still have this intention, you know, to like make a bit of space. There might be something around boundaries here. There might be
Mm-hmm.
something around like saying no, we could go to no pose. Then
Yeah.
also, you know, you made a good point, like who you're around makes a big difference, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Do you have like a role model for this that might help you kind of grow into this, like making a bit of space, not overbooking yourself?
Mm, not actually.
Okay, so I want you to look for one,
Yeah.
right? It's like who in your life or who's around, who's spacious, who seems chill, who seems to have that kind of vibe, right? Because people are influences on us, aren't they?
Yes. 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 Yes.
You okay to
Oh,
do that as a
good
bit of
point.
homework?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tell me the homework one more time, just so we're double clear.
Warm to find someone who is able to make space in his life and not to look. It also feels like chilled and going
Yeah,
from more
yeah. What's their
activities
way
to
of being, their embodiment? You,
flowing. Not, yeah.
you also did that nice little movement back where you breathed out. I'm wondering if
Yeah.
that could be a little practice for you.
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm doing the meditation in the morning, it comes sometimes this need of, so I could integrate that at the end, or yeah,
Uh-huh.
I can integrate at the end of the
Yeah, you
meditation.
see, now you see, you used the word could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I integrate that at the end.
I mean, you don't have to do it, right? Like it's your choice. But like
Yes.
when coaches tell me a lot of people are like, why haven't my coach done my homework, their homework? And they're like, well, they said they could do it, not they will do it. You know what I mean? So like
Yes.
often I'm trying to like see if they will do it or not. It's up to you. Is this something you want to do?
Yes, I do it.
Okay, great. So in the morning,
In the morning after the meditation. Yeah.
how are you going to remember?
I switch my palm there on my legs, and I switch it like that. And then I go back. So I'm
Okay,
changing
great.
the side, the direction of the hands.
Nice. And you might want to make a little note somewhere, or a little reminder, okay? So just because it's easy to forget right after this.
Yeah, post it on the window where I do.
Okay, like where you
Yeah.
look, where you're sitting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So just very practical. A lot of the time people
Yeah.
forget their practices. It's just this, it's really because they haven't remembered, right? So it's important, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're also clear that you're doing this practice to kind of really help with your life, to get like this. What's your main reason for wanting to do this?
Oh, that's a good question. The main reason is to feel myself more and to feel others more from a center point, to be more in touch with myself and to be able to be more in touch
Why do
with
you want to
others.
be more in touch with yourself? I'm going to push a little bit here just
Yeah.
to make sure it's motivated.
What's the question?
Why?
Why? Because my habit, it has been to be quickly out of myself. So like projected into the relation, into other people, in my thoughts, more
You
like
don't want that because
back is about control I need to pick up everything to be secure. No one
that
is
doesn't sound very happy. You don't look very happy when you do that.
no, it's bad.
Okay, so it's clear it's bad for you. You want to be happy. That's why, right? Like, let's get it really clear and obvious. Yeah, like I want you to be happy. Like I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Maybe tune into that little thing you did at the beginning, like wanting to be happy, things that nourish you. You know, don't seem too dysregulated by the coaching, but it's a good thing to demo to like do a bit of regulation at the end of coaching. And key takeaway as we wrap up here, is there any key insights for you?
Really practice this acceptance, this practice, embodied practice. Do it, and I see, and yeah, do it, not just I could, just do it more. So it's through the body that it become myself, my being. So do it.
We're not getting into like more about the pattern of relaxing though, right? You see how that's funny? Yeah. So also accepting that there's two levels of acceptance here, right? One level is doing the thing, right? Because the other one is accepting the fact that you've got this pattern of more, like you just did it, right? Like more, I can do more relaxation, and like accepting that this kind of funny and you're not perfect and it's going to be a process, right?
Yeah.
So accepting the fact that it's not everything there, or else that's often our neurosis kind of recycles itself into the solution. It's like it
Mm.
hijacks the solution to make the same pattern. What you just did is really common, by the way. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to do more of the relaxation, you know? So it's like we just got to be a little bit, I really recommend being a little bit careful with that and having that second layer of acceptance. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's some action, right? Of like, hey, I'm going to do this technique, but also some acceptance of like, you know what? It's in process.
It's in process. It's in process. It's my habit. I'm not perfect.
That's
On my
absolutely.
road. Yes.
Should we leave it there, Lydia?
Yes.
Total
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Like working with
Pleasure.
you. Enjoyed that. Nice demo. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to gallery view. Nice little demo, nice little session. What techniques did you see me do? What was I playing with? Did you the acceptance and agency part was in there, right? It was kind of like in the background there. Like does she often people aren't so clear though. It's like what she wasn't clear about was to accept the part that wasn't doing the thing though, right? So there's almost two layers to this thing, and that kind of came back a bit at the end. Often with people, it's like literally just asking them the question. They'll say, like, my mother's driving me crazy. I'm like, oh, can you change her? And then they go, but I want to. And you go, well, can you? And they go, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Is there something you need to accept then? Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Or someone's like, oh, I'm so overweight. There's nothing. And they go, oh, it's really, you're completely powerless about putting food in your mouth, right? They're like, well, no. I mean, I could, It's like, so it's helping people get to that point of either action or acceptance. In her case, it wasn't so necessary, except for this kind of like second matrix. You all got the second layer. People's neurotic patterns reassert themselves in the solution to the pattern, right? Like I'm going to be really competitive about not being competitive, or I'm going to be really nice about being boundary, or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so we did a little bit of belief stuff. What did we do? A bit of centering. We could have worked with boundaries around this more. We could have done like a no pose stuff. She did some stuff around like grasping at the beginning that was interesting. We could have gone with. She gave me like 5 things we could have gone with at the beginning. Rapport building at the beginning, right? Just connecting. Like, don't miss that part. Like, be nice, be welcoming, be like, hey, it's good to see you again. It's really nice to coach you again, right? I mean, no, you don't have to be fake. Like, it's totally authentic, right? I hope you heard the authenticity there. It's just like, I'm happy to be coaching her, yeah. And also the tuning in, like, what's going on in your life? How's it going? Spend like a minute, like, where's the client at? Because it's what they're telling you and it's how they feel. And that also gave me a sense of like, she's pretty resourced. Like, I was thinking if necessary, we could go pretty hardcore here. We didn't have to actually, you know. And then seeing the, work her getting the humor side of things, it's a bit of humor coaching. I was getting her to sort of lean into that. Yeah. Like leaning it, like humor is a sign of non-attachment and it creates non-attachment. Why do we need non-attachment? Because if someone thinks they are their pattern, trying to coach them is threatening to kill them. Do you see why? If I think I am my pattern, then if you change my pattern, you kill me. So are they likely to go along with you changing the pattern? No. Do you see what I mean? If someone says, I am a smoker, why would they not stop smoking? Because you're exterminating them. Have I blown your mind, Rita? Okay. So humor creates space where subject becomes object. They call it in meditation, where you go, oh, there's a pattern. And if someone's laughing, it's a certain kind of laugh, right? There's also a cruel laugh and other kinds, there's also avoidant laughs. You have to learn to recognize the laugh type. It's like tears. Tears aren't just tears, right? I know people who've cried because they had an orgasm, right? People cry for all kinds of reasons, right? So I literally had a lover who would cry when she had an orgasm, and not trauma release. That was just a physical thing for her. Other people cry when they're happy. Some people cry when they're tired. So it's like that with laughter. It has multiple meanings. Yeah. How do you decide which one to go with? Well, I could kind of go with all of them. It's more like I just kind of pick one that feels on top. It's more like I'm going to talk about this next. We did a video on this. Some of it is experience. Some of it is just choosing any because any will do. You know? So perfectionists, if you're going, yeah, but what's the right technique? Probably all of them. Who are perfectionists? Like they're probably all fine. I'm not doing any harm, am I? Right? Like, but it could have been better. Oh, it could have been different. Would it have been better, worse? Maybe. So yeah, a lot of that's experiencing. Oh yeah, I did finding a role model as well, didn't I? So don't underestimate the environmental and the social context someone's in. So as coaches, we're working with the body as our primary tool in embodiment coaching, but we're also looking at social systems and even structural systems. Like we're not changing like the economic base of society, right? It's not like Marxist revolutionary coaching. We're not, you know, it's pretty hard to change that even if you wanted to. But we could work with someone's house design. Like, are there plants in your house? Is your house clean? You know, is your house aesthetically appealing to you? These make a huge difference to how regulated we are. Remember the tetrarchy model? Eco-regulation includes someone's house. Yeah, co-regulation includes someone's social sphere. Do you need to make friends with different kinds of people, right? Do you hang out with your family too much? Maybe they're totally dysregulatory. You need to see them less. Yeah. So like you can't kind of out coach a bad social or physical environment. I think it's very difficult, very difficult. Yeah. So even though our access point is often the body, think of like Ken Wilber's quadrants, if you've ever come across that, I, we, it, and its. You can't, like, it all matters, right? Imagine doing the best embodied coaching, but with someone in solitary confinement in a prison cell with no windows and no furniture. Like, so they're eco dysregulated and they're co-dysregulated because they're in solitary confinement, but oh, they're really embodied. Do you see what I mean? I mean, I'm giving an extreme example. Equally, when people have like, have you ever been somewhere like beautiful in the Mediterranean or something, or Costa Rica, and people have like loads of co-regulation and they eat with their family every day and they go to church every Sunday, so they're super theo-regulated, and then it's like, do they need to do yoga? I mean, they could, but generally they're like, what's wrong with you white people doing yoga? You know, you weirdos, you know? It's like people in London with no friends need to do yoga. Yeah. I'm not against yoga, but what I'm saying is like it would be a bit ridiculous going after someone who was really like eco theo and co-regulated and telling them they had to do downwards dog to be happy, right? Does this make sense? So there's always a context to our coaching, and some things we can change in that context. Some people are like, you know, I'm coaching someone in Ukraine, they're getting bombed. That's just the context they're in, right? But even my Ukraine team, I'm like, when's your next holiday? Right? Like, when are you taking a break? You need to be out of that environment. Yeah. All right. Mm, yeah, what if the client says they have no one there for them? This is a beautiful point. Thank you so much for your care around that. I had that once years ago. I was doing a workshop on stress, and I got everyone to map their friendship networks. And I was talking about different types of co-regulation, like the empathic friend, the funny friend, the sexy friend, the practical friend. There's 4 kinds of friends everyone needs. Okay, everyone got that in their life. Okay, you can be sexually co-regulated. You can be pragmatically co-regulated, like your dad who fixes your washing machine. Okay, you can be empathically co-regulated. That's the one the therapists always fucking talk about. Okay, you can be comedically co-regulated. These are different types of regulation. So I was getting the client to map these types of co-regulation. Sexual regulation, all of them. And the guy just said, I have no friends. He said, I don't have any friends at all. And I was just like, because I'd really taken it for granted that I had quite a few good people in my life. Yeah. Yeah, and that could be the basis of coaching is like, how are you going to get friends? And that is not an easy task, particularly for guys and sometimes for older people. Like my girlfriend made a friend in the gym. She went up to a girl in the gym and was like, let's be besties. Like I was thinking, if I went up to a dude in the gym and they had lunch later that day, and I was thinking, if I was like, let's go for lunch with one of the guys in the gym, he'd be like, dude, what the fuck, you know? Like, so we are in different contexts in terms of our, you know, genders, age, social contexts. For some people are more awkward socially. Some people have to get a hobby to get friends, you know, like autistic wargaming friends that I have, right? So yeah, but that could be a really good thing for coaching is like, okay, let's look at some strategies for developing friendships and maybe do centering around that because it's not easy and, you know, what's appropriate, what's not. So super good piece of coaching. And some people, I just really want to acknowledge some people are in some pretty shitty situations when it comes to fucking modern society being the modern society has killed the co-regulatory village that we have evolved to be healthy in. Right? It has killed it. Like that is the context like of our coaching. The context of our coaching is we're theo-dysregulated because most people are godless fucking heathens. Okay, we're co-dysregulated because the village has been destroyed, and we're eco-dysregulated because most of us live in cities. And it's like, now do downwards dog, bitch. Do you see what I mean? Like, I just really want to acknowledge that, like that's the context we're in, right? And some of that we can change. Some of that you can change a bit, like get some house plants, right? Some of that you can change a lot, you know. But like, let's not don't pretend that everyone has a great life in these ways. Some people have really tough lives in these ways. Yeah. Yeah, some cultures just dance a lot more. You tend to find the cultures that are more like Mediterranean, South American, they're more embodied in one way, but not in another. Virginia, do you want to speak briefly to that before we do breakouts?
Oh my God, absolutely. I just want to remind you that these sessions are an hour long and we're not doing
Oh,
breakouts.
shit. Oh,
The
I totally
Tuesday
screwed up.
mode.
It's not Tuesday. Okay,
But
that's
yes, I
totally my bad.
reiterate on your point. If you're coming from the south of Europe, for sure, there's definitely more embodiment, more co-regulation, the communal meals and
But
things.
what's not better? Because there's a lot of good things, but what's not better? Because there's also a way in which I see, like, for example, a lot of Greeks or South Americans, like expressing but not feeling always.
Absolutely. And that's a gateway to not feel.
Right. So it can be like co-numbed in a way, right? Like there's a lot of
Yes.
co-regulation, but often there isn't that self-regulation or that,
Self-regulation is missing big time.
like, no offense. I'm always nice to Italy, so I'll be mean to Italy. It's like, no offense to Italy, but their self-regulation isn't that fucking good. Like, particularly the men, I've just seen them having little baby tantrums. And often they're quite disconnected. There's a joke that English people feel but don't express, and Italians express but don't feel, right? Yeah, and Americans do both, obviously, and Germans do neither. Okay, so you know, there's some truth in these cliches. Yeah. So if you see someone who's very embodied and moving, and you know, it's not always that there's a deep embodiment, right? But generally the co-regulatory kind of Mediterranean kind of lifestyle.
And deep embodiment has an empathy as well. You're aware of the others in the room and can take them into account. That sometimes is lacking in the Mediterranean.
Okay, it seems like some people from the Med are laughing or saying it's true. Okay, all right, be careful with stereotypes, obviously, but you know, they're stereotypes for a reason. Thanks, Virginia. Thanks, everyone. Thanks to our volunteer as well. Lovely session.